All right, we're back. This is Randy, bmwparts.com. We're going to be doing a rear seal today. There's a few things that you're going to have to pull out to get this rear seal in. You're going to have to pull the oil pump out. You're going to have to pull your the back side of your timing cover assembly out, your main caps, and you're going to have to lift the crank out about an inch out of its resting area to be able to put the seal in. You're not going to be able to roll this seal in. This seal, if you look at it, this is a factory seal that you get in any of the kits from Felpro. Basically, it's just some crappy seals that don't work. If you look at our seal, it's pretty solid already. It already has the contoured shape of the rear seal assembly, but because of the type of material it is, it will not roll in. I've tried it and I've damaged parts trying to get it in there. You got to pull the crank, you got to lift it out of its carriage assembly to be able to put the seal in. So we're going to cut the camera. I'm going to go ahead and pull the assembly apart, and once it comes back, I'll have it out of its resting spot so I can show you how it goes in. One thing, make sure when you pull the oil pump on an F-162 engine that you look to see if there's a shim underneath the edge of the housing. The F-163s usually do not have a shim there, but if you have an F-162 engine, you want to check for that shim. That shim is the alignment and the height for the gear for where the oil pump and the camshaft come together. So basically that oil pump and the cam rest together in one spot. If you don't have that in the correct spot, it'll wear these gears out. So you want to make sure that if there is a shim there, that you get it in the correct spot. Okay, we're back. I've removed the front horseshoe that goes right here. I've removed the oil pump, and I've removed the 3 end caps. I turned the crank to where it's sideways to where I could lift all 4 of the pistons the same height at the same time. So that's why the block or the crankshaft is set in this position right here. So basically what I'm going to do is I put this in the vise just to kind of smash it a little bit more to make it easier. And this basically lays back in the original slot. You'll see that it's got the same contour as what the seal is in the first place. And then just by the book says that you take like a hammer or mallet or whatever, and all you do is just pound that shape down to where it smashes it in at an angle of just a little bit, or nice and flat. Once you get it to where it's nice and flat and in the housing, then you're going to trim it down. But basically you want it to where it's nice and flat and all the way in the housing evenly all the way across. And then what you're going to do is you're going to trim off the excess. What you want is about 1/8 of an inch, no more than the 3/16 of an inch, and you don't also want it to be all the way flat. You want to have a little bit of an edge on it. The one I like to use is the Craftsman Handy Cut, because it's got a really nice sharp blade in it, and you can get it to where it angles nice and flat. I've tried razor blades before, and it just seems to, because of how hard the material is, it just seems to kind of roll it too much, and it just doesn't make for a really nice edge. So if you have one of these or whatnot, I mean, it'd be nice to pick up to make sure that it's done and looks really nice. So you can see with that cutter, it cuts it off really nice and really squared, and it gives you that shoulder up there really nice. So basically, just put it in there and make sure that you got that clearance that you're looking for before you make your final cut, and then just cut all the way through it. That way it's nice and squared off. Next, I'm going to basically set this in place right in behind the crankshaft. So I've got the seal in place and I've got the clearance that I want. So now I'm going to make sure I have my main bearings aligned back in place, and I'm going to press this down up against the main caps, and then I'm going to put the caps on. So when we come back to the camera again, I'll have the main caps on, and I'll show you how to install the oil pan gasket, because it goes in between the two, and then putting on the last seal for the back corner. Alright, we're back. I just finished setting the torque, putting the oil pump back in. I made sure that the shim was underneath the oil pan where it goes on this F-162. If they come with it, make sure it's there. If they don't come with it, don't put it back in place because it'll ruin the lash between the cam and the oil pump. So you're gonna put your oil pan gasket, go ahead and put your RTV on it. You're gonna set it in place. You're gonna RTV it all the way up to where there's just a little bit of an edge right here, but you want to fill in the gap in this corner when you're putting this on. So usually what I do is I go ahead and put the RTV on both sides of this first, and then I go ahead and put it on the rest of it, except for I don't really need a whole lot right there because I've already got it there. And then, of course, your other gasket's going to be on the bottom. You're going to put this one in place. You're going to put your front one in place. You're going to go ahead and get these lined up, and then bring these down evenly so that it crushes down evenly on the seal so that it mates really well. And that's it. RTV the top, put your rubbers on, put your pan on, and you're done.